The Institute for Transformative Dialogue at CMU works to cultivate a culture of dialogue, inclusion, and equity across campus. This is achieved through IGR courses, racism and racial justice through dialogue, and gender identities in dialogue.
These courses explore topics such as oppression, privilege, and justice. Students meet in person twice per week. One meeting consists of a typical class period with a professor, while the other encompasses group dialogue with peer facilitators.
Peer facilitators are student leaders that guide participants through dialogue.
Dialogue is a critical learning process that fosters understanding, communication, and collaborative action against social inequalities.
Intergroup relations courses set learning goals that help students achieve true dialogue.
We always make sure to implement the IGR learning goals, especially in the beginning, like we talked about them very heavily. We explain them more in definitions in the beginning just so they can know them, but as you move on, it's kind of cool to see how the learning goals, they get better and better at them.
Important ways that my co-facilitator and I have tried to implement learning goals more is kind of having them co-create the learning goals, because in that sense, they're kind of doing the learning. They're going through the learning process themselves, as opposed to my co and I giving the definition to them and saying, this is what learning goals are.
As students facilitate and participate in dialogue, they develop skills that are transferable to any career and complement every major.
Dialogue is super beneficial in a bunch of ways. I mean, it's helped me to learn about topics in a way that is inclusive, and really helps me to learn about other people's experiences, not just by reading books. The process of dialogue helps you in your day-to-day life. It isn't just you learn about dialogue and it stays in the room. You learn about dialogue and you're able to transfer over that active listening or that personal storytelling or the understanding of other people and where they come from. That's all things that you can transfer from dialogue.
I've been able to connect dialogue to other settings by really embracing the patience of dialogue and really taking time to understand that everyone's coming from different experiences, different background. Not everyone's on the same page as everyone else. So it really has just helped me take time to take a step back and just help be more patient and understanding.
A lot of the things we learn there are transferable, especially to interpersonal relationships. So that can be between friends, in relationships. But dialogue really helps you learn how to listen to other people. It helps you understand other people's experiences, and I think that's a really important part of having relationships with other people. And then another thing that I also think I've been able to bring over into my personal life from dialogue is understanding that the reason people say things and think things all come from where they come from and how they were socialized.
Intergroup relations courses make a heavy impact on facilitators and participants' lived experiences.
Navigating my own identity has always been a struggle for me, because I grew up in a family where I wasn't taught much about my own culture, and I grew up with such a strong cultural background, being that my family immigrated from Chile, and that I grew up with a single father from Chile and then a stepmom from Mexico. So I grew up with this diverse kind of Latin cultural background, but I didn't know how to navigate it.
I think it's a great way to foster relationships. I have made multiple friends from dialogue who I still hang out with today, and I'm very grateful to have that and to have gotten that from dialogue. Dialogue can be incredibly enjoyable. It can also be a little nerve-wracking, and that's okay because it gets you out of your comfort zone and it helps you to learn.
I always got those stereotypes of marginalization, that I didn't belong there, that I had to go back to my own country, that all of these kind of misrepresentations that was shown of Latin individuals throughout the media. And I think kind of through that, I kind of just learned that I wasn't supposed, or I was taught that I wasn't supposed to talk about my culture, and that I should just kind of try to avoid talking about my own identity and my own culture throughout that. And I think dialogue has kind of been the opportunity for me to kind of break those dynamics that were in myself.
Okay, so like I said, when I first came into dialogue and knew about dialogue, I came in as a participant. I was a freshman here. I came from a school where the stuff we talk about now at Central, if I talked about that in my high school, like, it would have got, like, everyone would have looked at me like, no, like, we can't talk about that stuff, like, just like trying to like hide it and trying to ignore it. So it got really cool to come to Central, be able to like, oh wait, we can communicate about this, or we can talk about this. So for me, it was like kind of exciting. Like, I was actually really excited about it.
A lot of different emotions come up for me, like pride when I see my participants like start to grasp these concepts. It's really amazing to watch, and to watch them grow as people too.
I want to help foster those relationships for other people. I want to help people learn about the benefits of dialogue and learn about how they can take the topics and the process outside and help them roll with that. I just want to be able to help facilitate those conversations and help everybody learn about things that I think are really important.
I want people to be able to like learn from each other. I want people to be able to like be with whoever they want to be with. Like, I really do want people to be able to live a life that how they want to live it, because like you only get one life. Seeing like representation in education, seeing like women in there, and seeing like different cultures and different races, so that makes me just so happy, like stuff like that.
At CMU, the Intergroup Dialogue program fosters inclusivity and understanding through many different courses where social issues, identity, and topics like oppression and privilege are explored. The program cultivates leaders by starting the process with learning, training, applying, followed by a paid internship. Conversations during this process go beyond facts, encouraging deeper understanding and collaborative action. The skills learned are valuable in any career, making these courses impactful for all students regardless of their major.
Learn more about the Institute for Transformative Dialogue at CMU to begin your journey in intergroup relations.